Hi,
Thank
Shana.
you.
Thank you for coming on the podcast today. I'm so excited to talk about your company that I think is so unique, so interesting, and also just really valuable to people.
Thank
So,
you. Hi.
really
Hi,
excited
Jill.
that
Hi,
you're here.
everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell the audience just a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I'm a New York City based photographer. I specialize in still life photography. So that means if it breathes or moves, I don't want to work with it. I like photographing products and objects, and I've been doing it a long time. So um, I kind of turned it a personal project using what I knew professionally into a larger brand, the Heirloomist. And so currently I am the Heirloomist.
I love it. I love the name and everything.
Thank
So
you.
with that, let's kind of discuss the concept of your business and the product it provides and the service it provides, and maybe why you even thought of starting it, like how it, you mentioned you like still life photography, but then how did it lead to this? Because this is so unique and cool.
Yeah, thank you. It was kind of two things collided. I was honing my skills in the commercial still life industry, so I knew what I was doing, but I needed a way to bring some heart into my work. And so, as a way to sort of help my grandmother keep her family stories alive, I started photographing my own family's things, and I quickly learned that everyone has things, and everyone loves their family stories, and I felt like that should be celebrated, and it caught on really quickly. So the Heirloomist is a really perfect storm of professionalism and creativity.
Yeah, well, I was mentioning to you, it really speaks to me because after going through, I lost a parent back in the spring, and then helping my mother, the surviving parent, move, and you start to go through all these sentimental things. And
Yep.
some of them can take up a lot of physical space. Some of them, even if they don't take up physical space, you have them like stored away. And so you're not really enjoying them.
Right. And they take
And
up
it
mental
really triggered
space.
for me, like, yeah. And not only that, but like it's kind of cool to show them off in your house and like share with your kids and other family members. Or it triggered me because I have some really interesting things that I need to send to you to do some stuff.
Yeah.
I mentioned,
Yep.
and I'll just give the audience an example. I have a pot that my grandmother used for the Italian sauce every Sunday, which was like a
Yep.
ritual in our house. And my
Yep.
dad used it for a while, and then we also had our own. But when I moved out of the house, my parents handed it down to me. And then after my dad passed, I got her spoon that he used every week to make the food. And so the pot I don't use anymore because it has too much aluminum. It's not safe really to use anymore. But I
Right.
have it in the
Right.
basement. I can't let go of it because it was like, it's such a thing for me that every Sunday we had this sauce and whatever. So I was like,
Yeah.
I need to send you the pot, the spoon, and we'll have like a cool pack of spaghetti with like the spaghetti coming out. And like that's something I can hang in my kitchen, and I cook a lot. And for me, I feel like I can look at that and be like, yeah, that was my grandmother's,
Yeah.
stuff.
So many good memories.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's just one example, but let's discuss, like I mentioned, you call it out of the drawer and onto the wall, out of the basement and onto the wall concept, and how it's a great solution to preserving something, like I said, that could take up physical or mental space. And also you can't enjoy it. And I also want to stress it doesn't have to be from somebody who's passed away. It could be
Right.
like a really momentous thing, that's something that's current, that's happened in the family, and it's a great way to preserve it for years to come. So I'll let
Yeah.
you kind of speak to that, from the
Yeah.
closet onto the wall, etc.
Yeah, and quickly to your point, what you just said, we do try to really focus on the present and things that make you happy. And if it's a pet, if it's a marathon bib, if it's something that belonged to someone who passed away, we're gonna make something positive out of it, and that's the funnest part of my job. So,
Yeah, I'm
and I
such a
love
sentimentalist, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love the idea of this spoon and this bowl. So anyway, but I do know it's my big thing is it's okay that your heirlooms are packed away. I don't think that anyone should feel bad that they've got, grandma's plates up in the attic. It's okay. We all have busy lives and limited space, and we can't use every single heirloom. But if there is something that makes you so happy, my job is to give you a way to feel happy about it every day. And that's what I say. That's when I say, you know, get it out of the box and let's make some art, and then you can put it back in the box. There are no rules. It's just
Right.
let's just celebrate.
Right.
So yeah, that's where we're at. Well, that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, or
And I
maybe
have
it's
to.
like you go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. You go. You go.
What I was gonna say is maybe depending on what it is, once you've preserved it in your way, maybe it's something that physically you can let go of because now it's preserved in a way that's going to be useful, and in the other way it might not. And
Yeah.
again, it depends very much on the item. So I'm not
Yep.
suggesting, but it is a possibility.
Yeah.
You know,
It does depend on the item, but one fun fact is you would never believe we have so many people who will send us something and say, please don't send it back. Could you please dispose of it? Donate it, do something. They want to let it go. They want to turn it into art, and then we're happy to do the deed.
I think that's
So
great. And what a cool thing too, from the interior design perspective, I talk to people a lot of time about artwork in their home and they get so stumped by it. And I always say like having some personal things are great. And this is
yeah.
so personal
Yeah.
and cool. And it's like a great conversation piece. And the
Yeah.
way you guys will see when you visit her site and everything, but the way Shana photographs it is really artful. It's really unique. It's different than any old photograph. I just want to state that it really is truly a piece of art. And we're going to get into that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, like we mentioned, some of the things more specifically that people could use this for, because we talk about milestones, you know, kids items, things like that, and how this, what we'll call the past, present, and future can all be celebrated and really made into artwork that could be passed down.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think my mantra is let's try to figure out how to live not in the past but with it in a modern way. And your home needs art anyway. And so we're here to actually make it mean something. And I have to just say quickly, I adore what you do because I've moved from the city to a larger space in a small town or in a suburb, and it was such a good time of my life. And it's so fun. And I can remember getting into my new house and looking around and going, oh, I have walls. I can
Uh,
hang things. I can display things. And it was so exciting to suddenly, you know, I went back to New York City because of my work, but
yeah.
to be able to have my things around was really, I think that kind of planted a little seed in me that you should live around things that fill you up and make you feel good. And I
Yep.
always say, you know, make, don't buy. And I'm not against going to the store and buying something lovely for your house, but I'm a huge advocate and biased about having it be meaningful. So
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And yes, I always preach, you know, when you surround yourself with things you love, your home will be beautiful. People get really
yeah,
caught up on, you know,
yeah,
rules and looking like this and looking like that. And that can really lead to something that's very sterile and ununique. So I
yeah.
really tell people to lean into,
Hmm.
and this is such a good way because it can't get more personal than this. This is going to be
Right.
typically something so unique. And so what better way than to make it into a piece of artwork for your home?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
do all different sizes, right? Like the size of
Oh
the
yeah.
photograph, is that determined by the client saying I only have this much space, or do you have to determine that once you get the piece?
It really depends. We really try to approach it client by client because it really depends on, yes, wall space, or where it will hang, or sometimes the subject matter. You know, we do a lot of ticket stubs, for an example, and
That's cool.
100 ticket stubs won't be done justice in a tiny picture. So that's when we have to get really big.
Right.
If there's an object that has a lot of detail or a lot of important wording, a handwritten note, those things
Mhm.
have to be certain sizes in order to really understand and appreciate the timestamp, and the you know, the details that make it special need to be a little larger than life. That's kind of our thing. So
You posted recently, this is another good use. I think you posted recently, there was a wedding, and did they
Mhm.
take, all sort of the souvenirs from their wedding
No, yeah.
and photograph them in
While
the
they were
collage?
dating, yeah, they were dating. The
Okay.
girl kept all of her mementos, letters, ticket stubs from when they
Oh,
were dating.
see?
So, Yeah. So
But you
true.
could do that like from a wedding because
Yeah.
you can grab like the napkin, the like whatever the party favor, you can grab little things and that's a nice way to preserve all those things from like a special occasion too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where it becomes really fun because, different objects I'm sorry, we're in New York City, so if you hear
Oh,
sirens in
don't
the
worry.
background, it's
That's fine.
Halloween and everyone's going nuts.
I
Um,
know. We're recording this
so
on Halloween, yes.
yes, happy Halloween, everyone. Um, so different objects grouped together that are of different sizes, different dimensions, shapes, colors, fabrics, finishes, that type of thing. I think that's when the Heirloomist is especially fun and effective
Yeah.
because it's really hard to put that stuff in a frame and all composed together in a photograph larger than life just gets everything sort of interacting and it becomes I think I said this yesterday on Instagram. It just becomes this big love letter to whatever that time of your life was or whatever the occasion was. It's just a big tribute to that fleeting moment, and it sort of holds it with all these different visual points of light. So
What's cool about that
those are
too,
my
like
favorite.
with ticket stubs and paper mementos, is that if you have the photograph of it, you don't have to worry about because if some people preserve those in like a shadow box or whatever, the paper deteriorates
They
over time and
fade.
discolors and all
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
this really preserves it. So that's
Yeah.
another, I think, huge benefit.
Yeah, we get a lot of ticket stubs and airline tickets because the ink on that kind of thing, it's obviously a lot. So much is digital these days, but if you
Yeah.
still have something around that's special that has ink on it, it's going to start to fade. So
Yeah.
the Heirloomist can also be preservation.
Yeah, because
So
that might be fun for like a great trip that you took and have
yeah,
the tickets without, yeah, that's actually almost something that you would scrapbook, but then you put it
yeah,
into a photograph. So that's, I think, another great thing. So I touched
thank
a
you.
little bit on your process, but I would like to really get into letting the audience know, like, if this is sparking something in them, like, oh, I have this, how would they go about, placing an order? What's the process? And then I also want to
Yeah,
talk about the style of your photography, like the finished product, because it's
sure.
I don't know if you call it this, but it's dimensional. It's
That
it's
makes
not
me
just
so
flat.
happy because
Yeah.
that's our biggest thing. Yeah, we want dimension. That's the when I'm working, I that's the one thing that I really try to focus on. So thank you for noticing.
Yeah,
I
I'll
feel
just mention
seen.
quick to the audience when you see the picture, so like she did one of sneakers, you feel like you wanna go grab it off the
I
paper.
love
So I'm
that.
just gonna
I love
yeah.
it.
But,
Thank
let the
you,
audience
though.
know when they if someone's like, "Okay, I think I wanna do this," how does the
Yeah.
process work for them?
Yeah, so we try to make it really streamlined, and we also try to make it really collaborative. And I try to work with every single client directly. It's really important to me to get to know you and get to know the story and what you expect. So I joke it's 4 easy steps. You send me an email. We have a website, and you can email through there or through Instagram. We'll provide links, and I help you decide on the size and the print of the print and how we want to approach your object or objects. You send everything to our photo studio in New York City. I know that's where everybody gets hung up, but I will tell you that with tracking numbers and signature requirements, we've never had a problem. We have a 24/7 mailroom who signs for everything. And it's not the idea of mailing is not for everybody, but I will tell you that it completely is part of our business model, and it's not something that we've ever had trouble with. So
Yeah.
um, after that little caveat, once everything arrives at our photo studio, we wear white gloves, we work our magic with our strobe lights and special cameras, and you get an email in a couple of days with several versions of your picture, or on the same day maybe we talk about your picture, and then once you see something that you love, we start your print. We start to make your art, and we send everything back to you. Everyone always wants to know, do I get my heirloom back? Absolutely, we send your heirloom back. So,
Unless you're
um,
somebody like you said that says you don't need to, right? Yeah.
correct. Yes, yes, exactly. So,
Okay.
it's basically 4 steps. You send everything to us, we make the magic, and you get it back.
That's awesome. And then the way you send it, it's unframed, right? Which I
Yeah.
which is good
It's
because it's
funny.
less shipping, and then,
It
you
is,
can go to
yeah.
a local framer or these actually there are actually some nice online framing companies that I've used that do a very good job.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some good online companies out there. However, I 100% advocate for using a local frame shop. I think that those guys are artists in their own right.
They are.
And a good quality picture frame cannot be sent through the mail.
Yep,
It's
that's
one of
true.
the reasons, we do it, and
Mhm.
I stand by the frames that we make. But if you want a truly gorgeous product, go to your local frame shop, have them put the good glass on it, have them put a
Mhm.
frame you love on it. Don't pay for someone to ship your art to you.
Right.
That's my that's my 2 cents.
Do you recommend using that, preservation glass? Or is there a
Yeah.
specific glass if someone's gonna frame that you recommend for your photography?
Yeah, that's a really, really important question. I'm really glad you brought it up because we always insist, just tell the frame shop that you want your acrylic or your glass, whatever you pick, just make sure it's UV protected,
Okay,
ultraviolet protected. That means
okay,
it's going to protect your print from light and fading over the years. So,
yeah. And the
yeah.
plexi is very popular now just because it's so much lighter and
Yes.
you don't have to,
Yes.
so I mean, a lot of the stuff I've been and yeah, the local framers are great. Every community has an awesome local frame shop. They all
Yeah,
do. We
they
have a
do.
couple right here, but,
Yeah.
it is great to use that, and I do think because the art is so powerful, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but you probably need
Yeah.
something a relatively simple frame to begin with anyway, a simple molding, so just sets it
Yeah.
off because your work is great, and I think it depends on what's being photographed and how busy it is, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I
Um,
also think there's nothing better than the experience of rolling that beautiful printout at a frame shop and being present to look at what frame, they'll pull some stuff off the walls so that you can actually see what
yep,
feels right with your picture, and you don't get that personalized service from a
no,
mail-in service. So
I agree,
that's
I
cool.
agree. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw, I heard about your company and then I went and explored more, and I'm like, again, because 'cause I'm such a sentimentalist, I'm like, "Oh my god," like, the ideas just flew out of my head about what I could do, but I also think for my clients, for those listening who are, again, stumped about what to put on the wall, I bet everybody has something that is sentimental in some way,
Yeah.
that they think, "Wow, how cool would this be as a piece of art?" And we could talk about it. So, I have, like,
Yeah,
so many things. I'm trying to decide where to start, but it'll probably be the
it's fun.
saucepan.
Well, and
Um,
it's also the most the craziest or the most mundane objects are without fail always they always tell the most incredible stories. So I always encourage everybody, think outside the box. Don't think along the lines of the fine china or the candelabras. It's my what started this whole thing was my grandmother told me she had kept the metal plate in her leg that the surgeons put in her leg when she was run over by a golf cart in Palm Springs while she was golfing. So she pulled it out in a Ziploc bag one day. Here, look at this. And I thought to myself, now that is a story. And that she kept it is just such a good example of, the stories that things can hold on, that our treasures do tell stories.
they
So,
really, really do. They really do.
yep.
Um, the next really exciting thing we're gonna talk about is that you've got a book, and it's
Yeah, I
called
do.
"100 Treasures and the Stories They Tell."
Yes,
And
yes.
so let's talk about your book, um, all about it, and then after you're done telling about it, we'll let people know. I think it's on pre-order right now, but you'll let people know how to get it and when it's actually gonna be available and the pre-order, but I'd love to hear about, I mean, I'm sure after capturing all these things and you've heard the stories, you're probably like, "Wow." Even the thing with your grandmother, it's like this little thing, but here's the story, and everybody loves a story.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
let's tell me about the book a bit in the audience.
Yeah, I almost turned into, an investigative reporter of the universe, it felt like, in a way, because my publisher, Chronicle Books, said, "Go out and find 100 new stories." And so for a year, I was chasing down the most incredible, the most touching, the craziest, oh my gosh, coincidences you would never believe, you gotta hear this. And it was such an adventure, in connectivity, and we really are so different yet so the same. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and also the most rewarding. So I think you guys are going to be it's going to be, I always joke, you're going to need a box of tissues and a bottle of champagne, because it's going to be all the things.
So in the book, do you show the object and then you tell the story that was behind the object?
Yep, it's kind of one part coffee table art book paired with the story behind each image. So
I
it'll
love
be
it.
yeah, it's kind of like our Instagram page, like what you would know from our social media content, the stories behind the special objects. So it's just
Wow.
a gift to your coffee table.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love if your publisher
Yeah.
ever wants 100 interior design stories, let me tell you, have we got stories. No,
Yeah.
but this is so cool. So, I think right now, because I think I looked, you can click pre-order. When's the book actually coming out?
So the book will be on shelves physically. You can go and touch it, buy it on April 30th,
Okay.
2024.
Yep.
But the good news today that I have for you is that we have all of our links live on our
Ooh,
website. You can buy signed copies from the bookstore in my hometown, Omaha. You can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, anywhere you want. Just go to our site and you can get your hands on it.
great.
It's pre-order is live. And then a fun thing that we're doing right now, and this will be fun for your listeners too, is because the book comes out after the holidays, we've had
Yeah.
a lot of interest in, oh, I wanted to give the book for Christmas, for Hanukkah. So what we're going to do is, if you send us a copy of your receipt and your
Yeah.
address, I will send you a signed book plate sticker made out to the person who's receiving the book as a Christmas gift. So
Oh, that's
everybody
so
can,
nice.
it'll be like the gift that gives twice.
Right.
You get the pre-order notification, and then in April you'll get the actual book, and then you can personalize it. So that'll
And
be
then
fun.
local bookstores will have it live on their shelves in April. So if you want to purchase
Correct.
from the local, and I think you told me you can pre-order from your local bookstore if you want to give
You
your local
absolutely can. Yep, you
bookstore
can
the business,
any
right? Yep.
yes. And of course,
Okay.
just like a frame shop, I completely advocate for supporting your local bookstore. They're national treasures, every single one of them. So go go
They
local
really
and
are.
go and buy them. Yeah.
I
So
told
yeah,
in my home
any
state, we
bookstore
still
will be
have
able to
some
get it to you.
left. Like we still have some
Yep.
left in my home state, and like you go in and it's just like a precious experience. It just is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different than
That
a
smell.
yeah, not to like knock the big chains, but like there's something different about it. And
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
I try,
Yeah.
try to support them too. But I love that this is out. I think it's so exciting. And
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to get my hands on it. I'll tell you that. Um,
Thank you.
so yeah, I think we've, gone over a lot about, what you do, what it is, and how it can be useful, helpful, and beautiful for people. If there's any other tips or anything you want to say, let us know or let me know. And then I'd love for you to also let listeners know your website, social media, and we put all those links in the show notes, and we'll also link the booksellers so people can pre-order as well.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah. We try to make our website sort of the community place where you can go and learn anything. So if there are fun pages there where you can learn how to pre-order the book, but also link over to our Instagram, which is just us, the Heirloomist.
Okay.
And we've started putting some really special sort of extra content over at Substack, which is a fun new way to sort of write with pictures, sort of what we're good at. And that can also be linked. It's free to subscribe. And then when that's sort of like it's sort of like a VIP room. Our
Okay.
Substack page is a VIP room where there's a little bit extra going on over there. So, but
Is
yeah,
your web is your website the heirloomist.com?
yes,
Okay.
theheirloomist.com.
Okay. And
Yeah.
based on our conversation, any other like tips for anybody thinking about doing this that you gave us a lot, but if there's any last sort of parting words, let the audience
Yeah.
know.
I would just say, something I've learned from my clients. It's so fun. There are no rules to this, to being sentimental, to what you feel, to what you want to look at in your home. If it means something to you, call me, let's turn it into art. There's no wrong answer.
Thank you for that, because that's what I tell people about design too. And it's
Yep.
like, if you feel
So
uncomfortable
personal.
with someone that's told you it's got to be this way, you're uncomfortable, the designer's going to make it look their way, just call me because I can make it look your way. Yeah. So you and
There
I
you
have
go.
the
I like that.
same philosophy, because
Yeah.
it's true, by the way. It's absolutely 1,000% true. So yeah.
Such a personal thing. Such a personal thing. Own it.
That's
Own your
right.
home.
Lean
Own
in,
your
man.
home.
Own
Own your
it.
art.
Well, I just love everything about you what you do. You'll be
Thank
hearing
you.
from me soon, because
Yeah.
I'm like,
I can't wait. Send the spoon.
I got all kinds of ideas going.
We
Yeah, and
already got
also
the spaghetti.
adding, so when that sauce was cooking in my home growing up, my dad was always playing Pavarotti.
No.
So my dad still we had all of his CDs still, because those were the days we had a mini stereo system with a CD player. So when we were going through some of his things, I took some of the Pavarotti CDs, and I'm going to have you actually throw one of the covers in there too, because that was part of the whole Sunday experience. Was Pavarotti was playing, the sauce was cooking, the spoon, the macaroni. So just if that gives anybody any ideas, you can really kind of play this up, and it really speaks, that whole thing, all those objects really speak strongly to me. And to have that in my kitchen where I love to cook would be really meaningful. So
I love it.
if that helps
Such a good
anybody
moment.
spark any ideas of their own, that's one of the first things I'm going to do. And then I got a second one going.
Okay. Ooh, a surprise.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for taking the time to be here. I'm really pleased to share this with the audience. And I think they could really take great advantage of it, and it becomes something beautiful for their interior design as well as meaningful.
Yeah. Yes. Personalized decor.
Yeah, which is critical. So thank you again. And
thanks for having me.
Can't wait to get
it was really fun to talk to you.
You too. I'll talk soon. Take care, Shana.
Okay. Bye, Jill.
Bye.